Allow me to say something right off the get-go, guys. Dating is not broken. It's working exactly as it was designed in its current form. And that's the part that nobody wants to say out loud, to admit. Or at very least, because if it's not broken, then maybe the problem isn't the apps, or women, or the dating, or hookup culture. Maybe it's you're still playing a game that was never built for you to win. Look around, you guys, and I mean seriously, take a look around, right? You've got more access than any generation of men in the history of the world. You guys, I'm not even being hyperbolic on that. Those are the facts. You have more access than any time in history. And it's not even close, guys, not even remotely close. There's dating apps, there's social media. It's not a localized market anymore, guys. It is a worldwide market. There are literally endless options. And yet, most guys, and more guys than ever, are frustrated. They're far more confused, and they're more disconnected than ever. You've got the guys in their 30s. Again, my audience, 35, 40, 45, and 50. A lot of these guys on paper, they're very successful. They have good careers, good jobs. They don't have a lot of debt. They got things going for them. But when it comes to women, oh my Lord, these guys are completely lost. And this should tell you something, guys, because this isn't, one of those things of knowing what to say. This is a far deeper issue, and something that most guys are completely unaware of or don't have a freaking clue about. All right, let's talk about what changed. It's something that really nobody explains or articulates this properly. It gets lost in the sauce, if you will, guys. Most guys are still operating on an outdated model, meaning one that was good in the 20th century. Maybe it worked in the 20th century. That's sort of way back thinking. I don't know if that's right, guys. But that's the model that most guys are operating on, something from the past. Well, what was that old blueprint? Well, pretty simple. Work hard. Be a good guy. Be a good man. Build stability. Find a partner. Get married. Go through the life events. And things seem to make sense that way, guys. That's how most men process this. And that worked. I'm going to say kind of. Maybe a bit better. That's probably a deeper issue for another time. But let's get back on track here. And then this was in a world where their options were limited. Guys, remember, smaller dating market. Social circles were far tighter. You had a very small circle. The roles were clear and more defined. Guys, I don't want to get too deep into this here, but very simple. Men were men, women were women. Yes, there was a time where they were more defined. And again, attention wasn't being hijacked 24/7, guys. In this social media world, attention is the currency, and everybody and their brother is trying to get your attention. And again, now you're stepping into a completely different environment with the same old expectations and belief. And that's where the disconnect comes, guys. You're working off, again, that 20th century mindset, maybe that worked for your father and your grandfather, but certainly isn't going to work here in the 21st century. All right, guys, the modern dating isn't about proximity anymore, meaning close to you. People literally physical proximity. Like it or not, guys, and you may not like this, it is about visibility, not proximity, but visibility. You're not competing with the guy down the street, the guy from your high school, the guy that works with you at the shop. No, the guy in your neighborhood. And not even men in your city, guys. No. Here's what you're competing with. Every guy online with status. Every guy with the lifestyle. The guys who understand attention and how it commodifies. The guy who stands out. And most of you, and you're not going to want to hear this, guys, most of you are invisible, period. In an earlier video, guys, I talked about the 80-20 and I use 5% rule. Some people use 4.5, but let's just call it the 5% rule. So based on studies and data from Dr. David Boss and numerous dating apps and other studies. Again, empirical data, guys, not stuff I'm pulling out of left field. Basically says, and there's the one where you want to grab a pen, 80% of men are invisible to women. So that means if there's 5 of you lined up for you, women aren't even considering you, okay? And that next 20%, you're not being, you're not automatically in. How would we say it that way? But you're not thrown out yet, okay, guys? You're being considered. And then the 5%, 4.5%, those are the men women choose for, guys. You don't have to like this. I'm just giving you the data. And there's a lot in here, guys. You're going to probably tell me, go fly a kite. But let me keep going, and let's let the chips fall where they may. But as I talked about, guys, most men, they're simply invisible. Women don't see the guy, at the counter, behind the counter at Starbucks, the guy stocking the shelves at Walmart, the guy putting in the electrical lines, the hardworking, regular, quote unquote, good guy. Sadly, most of those guys are invisible. Right or wrong, guys, it's a simple reality. And again, it's not because they're bad people, but being average in the system that punishes average savagely, guys. And I mean this, being average, if you want to date and you want to be successful with women, being average is not an option anymore. Again, maybe in the old days, being that average, hardworking guys might have worked. Not anymore, guys. That's just a reality. Average women do not seek out the average men. Guys, I've talked about the concept of hypergamy in other videos. Again, I'd suggest you check out Rollo Tomasi. In my opinion, he takes the deepest dive and explains the concept the most coherently, with the most clarity. So on that basic 1 to 10 scale, guys, women are looking to date not across anymore, but they're looking to date more up. Meaning a woman who is a 5 is looking to get with a man who's a 6, 7, 8, 9, or 10. And why is this? Well, guys, again, just simply because of hypergamy, it's in their sort of biological programming, but also the inflated self-image that many women have today. And this is not all their fault. They said they carry their fair share of blame, but a lot of it comes from men themselves. Men giving them validation on every social media platform there is, and then guys paying for only, what I'm talking about. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that on YouTube. Who knows? Anyways, this is why, guys. Women, when you're constantly getting likes, views, told they're hot, they're beautiful, they're sexy by every guy and their brother, everybody in their DMs, yes, they're going to have an overinflated sense of value. And here's the part, guys, that's going to be like a punch in the gut for many of you. You don't get rewarded for being solid. Like I said before, average is losing in this sort of sexual marketplace. You can be a solid guy, a hardworking guy. And it doesn't, this doesn't take away from your character, okay? Let's make a distinction here. I'm talking about the sexual marketplace. So if you're just a solid average guy, you are going to get overlooked. And in being that good man, that hardworking man, you're in that 80%, guys. So again, debating the right or wrong of this is futile. We can get into the morality, and maybe that's something, guys want to wrangle with. But if you do want to get with women, and I don't mean just get with women, I'm talking about develop relationships, you have to accept this for what it is, and fight the morality out, at another place or time. This simply is what it is. And no, guys, the good old days, as much as you may fawn for them, as much as you may want them back, the 1950s or 60s, they're never coming back. And even then, guys, I think you look through it sort of through rose-colored glasses, that revisionist history. But the fact of the matter is, you have to adapt. All right. This is where it's going to get uncomfortable, probably more uncomfortable for a lot of you guys. And this is why so many guys sort of opt out. Guys going their own way, the MGTOW, MGTOW, men going their own way. And then you see the guys who sort of give up entirely, sort of incels. And a lot of men will say the juice isn't worth the squeeze. And they may have a point, or at least to a point, but I'm not a big fan of defeatism, guys. Because a lot of guys will use these things as a cope. Women have changed. It's not fair. It shouldn't be this way. It shouldn't be this way. It's a cope instead of adaptation. Again, guys, you can argue for what it should be. I live in the world of what is. So these guys are going to tell you that dating is broken, right? It might be. Women are the problem. This generation, not only of women, of just people, is messed up. Perhaps it is, guys. And some of that might be true. It might even be valid, But it goes back to sort of, would you rather be right or would you rather be happy? And happy, in this case, is, finding a female partner or relationship. But again, even if it is valid, guys, it doesn't fucking matter. Because that's also a shield, guys. And the alternative to this is you are not positioned to win. And I'm not trying to insult anybody here. And I need you guys to stop reacting so goddamn emotionally. I'm just telling you things. If you don't agree, you still don't have to, get all emotional. Do your own research, and I think you'll probably come to some of the same conclusions. I'm just trying to tell you the truth from a guy who lived this for a long time, guys. And again, no matter how much they frustrate you, how much they piss you off, they are a reality. So the clarity is, guys, and I'm going to dare say the word, it is sort of red pill thinking. Don't get all lost in the sauce here, guys. I'm just saying seeing things for what they are as opposed to the fantasy of what you want them to be. That's what I'm talking about when I say red pill. So now the world is driven by this, the world sexual marketplace. It is driven by attention, perception, status cues and status signals, and lifestyle cues, guys. Again, you can hate this. Or, and here's a better idea, you can understand this. Because the one gets you nowhere, and the one gets you back in the game with the proper mindset. And again, guys, when you say you're not playing the game, it's simply playing the game, a weak form of it, and one where you're going to lose every time. So here's something that is going to really, throw a wrench into a lot of guys. It's going to really screw them up. They're going to double down on the wrong damn things. So they're going to stay stuck in routines that make them comfortable. We've talked about that ad nauseum, guys. And these routines don't make you attractive, and they certainly don't make you selected for. A lot of guys are going to avoid that discomfort that would actually evolve them. You have to put the work in, guys. There's no other way around this. Yes, it takes work. And I'm not just talking for women, guys. I'm talking your whole life. And we'll talk about how that ties in. Most guys consume endlessly instead of building or creating anything. Scrolling, whether it could be consuming substances, drugs, alcohol, whatever it is, porn, all that garbage, guys. And they hide instead of stepping forward. We talked about the incel. These guys that hide in their mom and dad's basement, their basement. It's ridiculous, guys. And then you wonder why nothing changes. Look, many of you don't have a dating problem. You have a life positioning problem. And yeah, that might hurt, guys. But again, I think if you sit back and, take what I said with a grain of salt and really examine it, it might start to make more sense than it doesn't. And that's only going to change, guys, if you look really hard at that guy in the mirror. All right. So who are the guys that win today? Well, I can tell you for one, they're not the guys who are chasing women. These are the guys that are building. Guys, I made a video, and it's this one here not too long ago, talking about you are the prize, meaning you're the man that's going to be selected for. So I suggest you watch that, but let me get back to this. So talking about the men who win today. Well, as always, guys, and I'll say it for the 100th time, and I'll keep saying it, you need to train your body, period. I don't care if you're 55, 60, 70 years old. If you're a man, you should have some physical training. They sharpen their thinking, guys. This could be anything from books, YouTube videos, tutorials, online education, classes at the local community center, whatever. and they're building something meaningful, guys. They're not out just chasing women. Building their careers, building a side hustle, becoming an entrepreneur, writing a book. I wrote a book. I got another one coming. Guys, you're building something. You have a mission. You have a purpose. What you're doing is you're creating a life that has gravity, one that attracts the right women, right? And the right people into it. Again, when you build this life, guys, it's not just about chasing tail. And for some of you, it might be. And I get it. I understand. But you're attracting the right people. When you become, quote unquote, that guy, the people that gravitate towards you are going to be the right ones. And the wrong ones, you're just going to weed them out. It's very simple. And again, here's a shift that some of these dating coaches, these yahoos and these love gurus are going to, won't tell you. When your life becomes the focus, dating stops being the mission. Basically, guys, when you start to focus on you, enlightened self-interest, again, as Rollo Tomasi likes to say, dating stops being the mission. It becomes a byproduct. Guys, I'm going to say that again. When you focus on you, when you develop the man you know you can be, the dating, the women, they come as a byproduct. They are not the focus of. Okay? Understand that. Guys, I started the video off by saying dating isn't broken. And I'm going to stand by that. It just wasn't designed to reward men who stay comfortable. It really never has, but in days of yours being average, it may have worked out for you. Not anymore. Now, that guy who is comfortable, kind of, rests on his laurels, he's invisible and he's passive. And guys, when you drop the line, well, I'm just going to, I want a woman who likes me for me. I'm going to ask you, how's that working out for you? Seriously. How's that working out for you? Now, some of you won't say, I don't care. I'm not going to be somebody. I'm not. And that's not what I'm suggesting, guys. And I hope you understand that. But if you're, staying average and you're expecting to level up in any area of your life, and I'm not just talking dating, guys, it's not going to happen. But with ladies, staying average and liking me for me, that era is long gone. And I don't even know if it was really a thing. So that leaves us with the decision that you need to make, guys. You can, one, keep playing this old game, the 20th century game. You can keep blaming the system. You can blame women. You can blame the apps. You can blame society. And you can keep wondering why it's not working. Or, this is a better idea, at least in my opinion, you can step into reality, guys. Okay? And accept things for how they actually are. That's what I talked about red pill thought earlier, not what they should be. I hear so many people talk about, if it only should, if and should. Guys, yes, the world would be better if we could follow some of these shoulds and ifs, but that's not reality, and I think you know that. What you need to do is build yourself into the man that doesn't chase attention. Because you become the man who commands it. That's the game now, guys. Those are the guys that are selected for. And whether you like this game or not, guys, that's the one you're in. Guys, look, as we get to the end here, again, I come across as harsh. I tell this from somebody who sort of lived this sort of game for the better portion of 2 decades, very successfully. A lot of this stuff doesn't seem fair or right or make sense. I kind of get that. But it is what it is, guys. And again, you can choose to, not date or be very selective, sort of do, go your own way. You could do those things. But I'm telling you, if you want to be successful in today's sort of dating world, whether it be just dating non-exclusively, or, looking for that long, life partner. I hate that word partner, a wife, or even just a long-term relationship. You have to understand the reality, guys. And that's where the disconnect is. So many guys don't want to accept this reality, or they want this return to something that probably never was. But in their mind, that was told to them. All right, guys, I appreciate all of you guys. Do me a favor. I know I've kind of packaged a lot here. I'm going to have a follow-up video to this, but drop me comments. And guys, I get that, dislike. I understand it, and give me your perspectives. When you tell me a comment, Tell me why you believe that. Just, there's always going to be trolls in my comments. I come to accept that. But tell me why you believe what you believe. And guys, if you found this valuable, subscribe, like, comment, and pass it on to other guys. Guys, lastly, again, I appreciate you all. And remember, live deliberately.